Hello there, and welcome to Write-Aerobics. How you doing out there? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get those creative juices flowing with some fun exercises. The first one is our warm-up, which is synonym sit-ups. All right, yeah, I think I'm doing all right. Okay, let's get going. Clock. Yes, synonym for clock. What we got going on here? Time, yes, timepiece. Face, time watcher, a watch, ticker. All right, what about city? What do we got for city? Town, yeah, smaller city. Metropolis. Urban jungle. Dense habitation. All right. Search. Search. Seek. Yep. Scout. Scour. I'm actually outside today enjoying the fresh air. It's actually really beautiful around here. Don't know how it is where you are, but I'm currently in Georgia right now. Cook. Cook. What do we got? Prepare. Bake. Grill. All right. Work. Oh, we have 5 for cook. Yep. Work. What do we have for work? Slave away. Task away. Labor. Exhaust. Daily grind. Exactly. All right, let's move on to our next exercise, which is going to be backstory building. So yes, you're going to see a image of somebody, and then you have to tell me their exciting backstory. Let's take a look. Very serious man here. But I have a feeling that what I first think of when I think of this is that this is somebody that is dressing up because it just looks rather not rather artificial, right? So it's like the secret agent learns everyone will trust you as a doctor as long as you do that really cool pulling the glasses off routine, right? It's like, yeah, I'm a doctor. It's like the oldest trick in the book, right? The way to get confidence in yourself is to show that confidence. All right. Perspective pumps. Yep, so let's see what different perspectives we can think of for this image here. So what do we got here? Yes. Of course, you have the kids, and you're like, yay, balloons, happy, fun. And yes, fun. But perhaps the parents are like, you know what, maybe we can really wear these guys out, and we can finally get some peace and quiet this evening. Or perhaps a perspective is some creepy thing that's watching them, right? Because we're seeing this from a different vantage point. So what's watching them? It could be the dog, could be nice, or I don't know, maybe it's some sort of horrific monster that's watching them all have fun before it pounces. But maybe I've been spending too much time with our horror writers. All right, so let's get to exercise number 4, adjective amps. What are some adjectives that you can think of to describe this scene? It's rather busy, hustle and bustle, right? You have the towering skyscrapers, you have a massive amount of people alive. Yeah, it's got quite an energy to it, right? The lifeblood of the city, vibrant, energetic, maybe a little stressful, a little bit tense, lots of stuff going on, active. Again, just depends on what your perspective is on a situation like this. All right, so our final exercise today is going to be to think about our protagonist. So the protagonist of a story, the main character, the person that is driving the story forward. So they are moving moving forward, they're making choices, they're playing an active role in the story. As people often say, protagonists need to protag. They need to be somebody who is what you call it, somebody who is moving the story forward, not just reacting to the antagonist, reacting to the situation, but actually proactively dealing with the situation. All right, so think about your protagonist of your story a little bit, get that character in your head. Think about what they have to do over the course of the story, because we're going to take a bit of a deep dive. So just really take a moment to really form that image in your head. All right, and here is the question. The question is what is the big decision they need to make to kick the story off? What are the potential costs and the potential rewards? Every story involves a protagonist making some sort of decision in order to do something. Like I said, they are they are proactive, they are doing something. And usually that is a major decision they make in the story. They choose to leave their home, they choose to get a new job, they choose to talk to a potential boyfriend, whatever it is, right? They make that choice and that informs the rest of the story. Often it's the big decision that if they didn't do it, well, the story wouldn't take place in the first place. However, there are potential pitfalls with it, right? There are potential rewards and there's also potential costs. So it's not just fun and games. There is a potential reward, which is why they're going to do it in the first place, but then there's also a potential cost, which is why they might not do it. So you have to figure out what that is, because the reward obviously is what is motivating them, right? Because otherwise they wouldn't do anything. The potential cost is why they wouldn't do it, and ultimately it'll tell you where the character is going to come to their lowest point, right? Because there's that cost, and that cost is going to be severe. And often, what you can do to really ratchet it up is make the cost worse than anybody even expected. So you could say, well, if we do this, this could happen, and this might happen. And then it's like, well, not only did it go as bad as you thought, but oh, it was so much worse because we actually escalated the tension. And that can be a very effective way of doing things. The challenge that I see a lot of writers do is they'll get to that two-thirds mark and they'll say, you know what? I just need to make it more exciting. It needs a big bang up finish. And then they create some sort of cost that they didn't really set up. It doesn't really have to do with the decision. And so it does come across like it's from left field. We all know about the Deus Machina, which is a Greek term about where they used to do Greek plays where the gods would just interfere at the end because they couldn't think of a good way to end the story. And it's a similar thing to that, but it's like the reverse of that. It's a duos conflict, for lack of a better term. It is a random conflict that comes from left field that has nothing to do with anything that took place up to that point, and the readers are just like, oh, okay, yeah, I could see what you're doing here. You want to make your ending exciting, don't you? And it can feel really cheap and not very fulfilling. So, what you want to do is you want to think about what is that big decision point where they decide to start getting proactive about their life. Think about what the reward is, because obviously they have to have a reason for doing it, right? That needs to be clear to the audience. What's motivating them? But what also needs to be clear to the audience is what could go wrong. Because guess what? It is going to go wrong because it's a story, right? The old saying is act one is you get your protagonist up a tree, your act two is you throw rocks at them. So you have to figure out what kind of rocks are going to come their way. All right. Well, that being said, I hope you have some good ideas as we head into our writing sprint. All right. Thank you so much for joining me this morning and get back to writing, okay?